Hey, Chrono Globe explorers. Ever heard the phrase, time is money? Well, what if I told you that in Old England, time was literally for sale? Yes, you heard that right. Forget about Apple Watches and digital clocks. Let's rewind to a time when knowing the exact hour was a luxury, and there were people who made a living by selling it. Intrigued? Buckle up, because today we're diving into the quirky, clock-ticking world of England's time sellers. Imagine living in a world without smartphones, smartwatches, or even a simple wristwatch. No, hey Siri, what time is it? No clocks on every wall. For most of history, that was everyday life. If you wanted to know the time, you had to rely on the sun, church bells, or, if you were lucky, the town's one and only public clock, usually perched high up on a church tower, visible only if you squinted hard enough and had eagle vision. But as England marched into the Industrial Revolution, things started to change. Factories ran on strict schedules, trains needed to depart on the dot, and punctuality became a virtue. Suddenly, knowing the exact time wasn't just a nice-to-have, it was a must-have. Hit subscribe and unlock the past with Chrono Globe. Here's where things get interesting. Most ordinary folks couldn't afford a fancy pocket watch. These gadgets were expensive, status symbols for the wealthy. So what did everyone else do? Enter the time sellers, the original human alarm clocks and walking timepieces. These enterprising individuals would roam the streets, carrying a reliable pocket watch, or sometimes a clock on a pole. Talk about commitment. For a small fee, a penny here, a halfpenny there, they'd tell you the exact time. Need to be at work by 7 a.m.? Want to catch the early market? Just flag down your friendly neighborhood time seller and voila, you're on schedule. Sounds bizarre, maybe. But back then, these folks were essential to the ticking rhythm of city life. Let's paint a picture. It's a misty morning in Victorian London. You're rushing to your job at the textile mill. You don't own a watch, and the church bell is running late again. Out of the fog emerges a sharply dressed man with a shiny pocket watch. He announces, "It's exactly 6:47, sir. For a penny, I'll keep you on time all week." You fork over a coin, grateful. Maybe you even strike up a deal. He'll knock on your window every morning to wake you up. Yes, some time sellers doubled as knocker-uppers. Human alarm clocks who'd tap on windows with long sticks, or even pea shooters. Talk about customer service. These time sellers had to be trustworthy. Their reputation was everything. If they gave you the wrong time and you were late for work, you might lose a day's wage, or worse, your job. So they'd synchronize their watches at the post office, railway station, or the city's main clock. Some even carried certificates to prove their accuracy. Move over, Apple Genius Bar. So, what did a time seller need to succeed? First, a reliable timepiece. No cheap knockoffs allowed. Pocket watches were the gold standard, but some sellers used larger, more impressive clocks to attract attention. The more accurate your clock, the more customers you'd get. Next, a good pair of shoes. These folks walked miles every day, covering neighborhoods, markets, and factories. And of course, a loud voice, or a creative way to wake up sleeping customers. Some used long sticks to tap on bedroom windows, others fired dried peas through tubes. Imagine explaining that to your neighbors. Don't mind the peas, it's just my wake-up call. And finally, a sense of humor. After all, if you're selling something as intangible as time, you'd better have a good sales pitch. Why did this quirky profession even exist? Because, for the first time in history, time itself became a commodity, a thing you could buy, sell, and measure. The Industrial Revolution turned England into a nation obsessed with punctuality. Trains ran on strict timetables, factories had shifts, and being late wasn't just rude, it could mean losing your livelihood. Suddenly, knowing the exact time was power, and the time sellers held the keys, well, the watches, to that power. It's wild to think about, but in a way, they were the original influencers. They shaped people's routines, helped businesses run smoothly, and kept the gears of society turning, one tick at a time. But as with all things, progress marched on. By the late 19th century, mass production made pocket watches affordable for the average person. Public clocks popped up everywhere, on train stations, factories, even street corners. The need for time sellers faded away, and the profession quietly ticked its last tock. Some knocker-uppers stuck around a bit longer, especially in working-class neighborhoods. But by the early 20th century, they too were history, replaced by alarm clocks and eventually the smartphones we all know and sometimes love today. So, what's the legacy of England's time sellers? For one, they remind us just how much we take for granted. Today we have the world's time in our pockets, on our wrists, even on our fridges. But not so long ago, knowing the hour was a privilege and a business opportunity. And here's a fun fact. In some parts of England, the last professional knocker-uppers were still working as late as the 1970s. Imagine being woken up for your shift by someone tapping your window with a stick. Beats the iPhone alarm, right? So next time you check the time, remember the men and women who once made a living selling it. One tick, one tock, one penny at a time. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell, because here at Chrono Globe, we always keep you on time. And hey, if you ever invent a time machine, promise me you'll go back and tip your local time seller. They earned it. Thanks for watching, time travelers. See you in the next episode. Right on time.